There we go. Alright. Welcome in. Welcome to the stream. To the 4 of you that are in here. So this is barely tested, so I barely know what's going on, but I'm praying that everything is working right now. Thank you for following. Alright, so this is completely unplanned, so I gotta figure out what I want to do here. What I was just thinking at the moment was that there's still a few things about this model here that I'm a bit unhappy about, so I figured maybe I can open up live2d and edit this model live while I chat with you guys, so hopefully that works out. Thank you, Elfo Hammer! Welcome to the stream, thank you for following. I hope the audio's getting through. I didn't mess around with the sources very much, so let's see if switching here will actually get me into live2d sharing here. Alright, hoping for the best. Hey! Okay, chat's in the wrong spot. Alright, so let's just get to editing my model here. And change a few things about it that I was less than happy with, so you notice there's quite a few weird spots in here, so one of the things I noticed while messing around with this model and testing things was pointing down here, the hair begins to look really weird around this spot right here on the hair front layer. I noticed with what I was doing a lot, I didn't slice the hair enough, so I'll definitely have to go back into the paint software and slice it up more. Honestly, I don't know how that went under the radar, but it did somehow. Also, I do not have Pro live2d like I should, but since I'm broke, this is what I have to deal with. So, yeah, shit. Oh, what I should be doing right now. I had a second monitor for a reason, but DI settings aren't correct. I have a second monitor for a reason, so I can hook this up. See, it does that. It's really weird. So let's go over here. Yeah, it's really bent around like that. It's really strange. I don't know why I did that, but because if I point it up here, see, the hair becomes straight, so I think maybe this weird bending was just a weird product of synthesizing corners that went over my head. Probably. The hair expands there a little bit, so that doesn't look very good. And then again with the weird bendiness down here for some reason. Yeah, I'm fairly certain at this point this is just a product of synthesizing corners. So next time I stream, I'm thinking about playing some games. I got quite a bit of encouragement to play the Stanley Parable from my girlfriend. She says she loved watching the playthrough of the game. She said that, yeah, watching the playthrough pretty much ruined the game for her. Lance, welcome in. Thank you for joining me. Glad to see you here. I really hope the audio's getting through. Stanley game is great. Oh, okay, good, the audio's going through. Yeah, it really sounds like it. It really does. Now, what my girlfriend did tell me was to try starting the game with 0 prior research, so it's gonna be a complete surprise. Hopefully this will get my model looking a little bit better, because there's still a bunch of rough edges that I'm not exactly the happiest with. I don't know how many times I've said that. I think I'm saying that too much. I should have a thesaurus on me. Oh, I see what's going on here. As someone who's learning art, I feel that the pain of working on hair, yeah. Hair is a bit painful. At least I have the luxury of not having to deal with hands, because if you look at what I did here... see if that says something about me. I'm fairly certain it does. Some of the polygons that I've placed around here, some of them are just completely meaningless. And the model would look better without them in a lot of instances. Okay, this right here is a bit weird. What the hell did I do here? Yes, you'll notice here my bad practice showing through of using... well, not slicing enough, because this whole front part of the hair here is just one big layer, extremely deformed. This is something that I definitely should not have done. This is a big live2d no-no. But since me stupid, so I tried anyways, and tried really pushing the boundaries of the range for this slot model with just single layer like that. You'll also notice some other weird things I did here. So one of the weird things I did with the model is, if you look here, I can click this and I'll have these big splotches of nothing here. So this actually is what I did to really quickly and cheaply implement expressions onto this model. So what happens with these giant globs here is that, well, I have my params here. Yeah, my model also has a bad case of not enough params. Like, too many things are linked together with one param, so that's definitely something that I'm going to need to change in future revisions. But what this glob here does, so I've got keyforms here for angry, so if I just... It moves down, so it does that. I'm able to do that because I've got freaking voids for eyes, but... So I guess in some ways this model's a bit of a blessing for ease of rigging. Even though in reality, live2d hasn't been so nice to me all the time. I'm working on my model like I'm a dentist trying to find cavities on some kid who's... Well, like, only drinks, like, soda ever. Or, nah, that wasn't a very good description. I can never seem to finish my sentences. That's one thing about me. I never finish my sentences for some reason. I never seem to be able to. There's definitely a bunch of habits here that I gotta begin correcting, because... Who knows, there might be somebody who's like a friggin' live2d expert in here, and they're just absolutely screaming at their monitor as they watch me rig. Merlin, welcome in. Thanks for tuning in. Glad you could be here. I literally woke up and fell back asleep. Because there's an outline here on the back hair layer as well. There's only like 31 art meshes on this model, I believe. Which 31 is very evidently not enough. Like, at all. Okay, I think all I just did there was made it look worse. That's not what I was going for. Yeah, that, wow. Oh, no. Okay, I think this is part of the problem. I gotta move this all over here. Let more of the back hair layer show through. Oh, there's this. Oh, I missed this. This was, because on the actual illustration, if you like, there it is. The front hair layer looks like this, and has this little black stripe here for some reason. There's so many parts of this model where I just like, I don't know, this is on here for some reason. And that's really bad. I really don't. I just need better habits. My habits are just, Are you actually a doctor? No. No, I'm not. Doc is simply my name. It's just a nickname I like. Also, at some point, I don't know if you're able to do this or not, but I figure I should be getting a bot in here. What I want to do is, if there's like a Python library for Twitch bots, and I can host my own Twitch bot, then I'll definitely remake my boy DocBot in my Discord server and put him into the Twitch chat and let him mess around. I really hope custom bots are a thing, because like I said before, I don't know too much about Twitch, and I don't know what you can do, what you can't do. So that's what the... Well, if you look there, there's what all of the globs for the eyes look like if I turn off the head. And the mouth. The mouth is also formed of globs. There's so many globs. So when I was working on this revision of the model, I call this revision, like I generally number my revisions. This one I'm calling a 2.3, I think. Like I was, I took a solid month to like rig the version of 2.3 that I've gotten to today. And I was thinking like, wow, this is like so amazing, like, because one of the main things I was going for with this revision was a higher range, a much higher range for the heading Lex movement, since I noticed a lot of models don't have that. And then like as soon as I finished the revision, I began browsing Twitter, and suddenly I see people start posting their rigs of heads that could turn 90 degrees, and I'm like, what the fuck? Who knows? Maybe at some point if I actually get about slicing some more layers into this, boosting the art mesh count, then I'll actually be able to achieve even larger range for the head. That does not look good, does it? Okay, let's... yeah, that sucks. It's getting really bumpy. It always happens. I'm working on the model, and, my eyes are going real whack. Holy crap. Anyways, like, it always, like, starts to look good. Like, I'm thinking it looks good. Until I, begin zooming out, and then I realize, yeah, no. Alright, so I see the root of the problem now. The lines there just straight up disappear, so I think I'm gonna need to... Oh, I see. It's going behind the front layer. So there should be a line under there. I was thinking that. It's just that the front hair was there, so... Just now that I dug everything up, I can line things up and make it look fine, hopefully. Yeah, my eyes have just been going nuts this stream. I should change the settings later. The monitor I'm using here, my second monitor, is a really crappy, well, TFT LCD monitor that I picked up on Amazon for like, 49 bucks. It said it was for use with, Raspberry Pi computers. So, like, Raspberry Pis are these little $35 micro PCs. They're really cool computers, just that, well, performance-wise, they really suck, but I guess that should be expected since Raspberry Pis are, $35. So it literally just comes as a single circuit board with, like, USBs, and you have to provide your own hard drive. It uses an SD card as a hard drive, so that's an interesting thing about it. What I tend to see a lot is that, because people think that the computer is small, they think that everything connected to the computer should be small too. So I see, like tiny little keyboard for Raspberry Pi, tiny little mouse for Raspberry Pi, and then I have tiny little monitor for a Raspberry Pi. Now, actually, for my Raspberry Pi, I'm using an old 17-inch monitor from 2003 with the VGA adapter, so that's what I'm actually using. So I have this little spare. I have this around as a little spare. I figured this would be a good way to use it, but then I realized that this tiny little 7-inch monitor makes it almost impossible to read text. So yeah, that's something I should have thought more about. Woohoo, raid! Thank you for the raid! From, who is it? Case in point, I can't read the text on the screen. Navsky, thank you! And thank you for the follow. I should turn down the volume of the monitor. How's the live2d rating so far? I found a bunch of problems with the hair, so that's what I'm fixing on. What I'm fixing right now, what I'm working on. I noticed up here, the top hair layer looks really weird, so that's what I'm trying to correct right now. You did an accidental 10-hour stream. How'd you do that by accident? Minecraft. Yeah, Minecraft's a game that you can easily get glued onto. Happy streaming and good night. Yeah, good night. That does remind me, though, I really should get Minecraft for this computer, because I only have Pocket Edition, which is a name that people probably haven't heard for a while. I still call it Pocket Edition because I've been playing on mobile for a really long time. I know nowadays it's called, like, Mobile Bedrock or something, if I recall, but it's the only version I have, so I'll have to go and get a Java Edition at some point. Does this... I have absolutely no gauge on if this looks better than before or if this looks worse than before, but, Max, welcome to chat. Who is this person? Well, a VTuber? Gotta iron out those dents. Yeah, definitely. The dents really suck, especially when you're working on, like, high range and after you, like, fucked up the art mesh at some point and you didn't realize it. I think at some point my model had, like, more dents than the average toad. Yeah, it looks, like, fine question mark up close, but then when you zoom out, it becomes more obvious. I hate it, like, when it's like that. Alright, so I think over the course of this stream, things have improved a bit. Fixing dents. There's still a bunch of flawed places here, especially around the head angles. I was really ambitious with the head angles, trying to manage something with this few pieces of art mesh. Alright, so I think I'll finish up live2d for now, and I'll just go back to chatting, so I'll switch this over. Mario 64 speedrun win. I'm not the greatest gamer, you see. Like, even if I tried speedrunning, that's probably going to be an absolute failure. Probably won't even make it to, like, top 1,000 if I try. I've barely played Mario 64 either, because, Mario 64 is a game I really like. However, I've really only extensively played the DS version of Mario 64, Super Mario 64 DS, and Super Mario 64 DS is, considerably different compared to the Nintendo 64 original, but 64 DS is definitely a game I've played the heck out of. I'd definitely love to invest more time into the N64 original, once I actually get a hold of a Nintendo 64, that is. Because, I really like playing on original hardware. You know, I think that's all about... I can't speak. I think that's all there is to do for now, so, I'll be, closing out the stream then now, so, thank you everybody for, joining me for my, first stream. It was pretty fun. And I'm glad everybody stuck around here. So, I have no idea when I'll stream next, but, no doubt I'll be seeing you guys soon. So, thanks for coming in. I'll see you soon. And thank you for the follow.